Alright, we're working on a 2004, 2003 Nissan Frontier. It has a misfire. I know everyone, when they think of misfires, they think of coil packs or spark plugs, or you got a bad wire. But you know, there's a lot of things that can cause a misfire. You could have a valve that's not operating, a coil pack, a spark plug, a wire. Injectors can make your check engine light come on for a misfire. So you got to check it all. So on this one, I did a head job on it. It had a misfire on number 2 and number 3 cylinder. Excuse me. Number 2 and number 3 cylinder. Did a compression test on it. I had 30 pounds of pressure in one and like 60 in the other one. So I stopped there. There's no need to go any further. And no sense of going any further. I know I need to take that head off. Once I got the head job done, got the valves redone, it was disgustingly carboned up 2 and 3 cylinder. Got a new valve job, put it on there, and it still ran the same way. Misfire on number 2 through cylinder. I'm going to start it up. If I take off number 1 cylinder, it's going to change the motor RPM. But I'll probably be able to take both these out, and the car will still run the same. That's how you know you have a misfire on those cylinders. So I'm going to start it up, and then we're going to go further. All right, as you see, it's running, not too terribly bad, but it's shaking its butt off. So if I remove number 1, that's a good cylinder. I know that because when I pull it out, it'll change the motor. You see that? All right, so that's a good cylinder. We move on to the next one. Pull it completely out. I'm gonna throw it to the side. That's a bad cylinder. Low compression, coil pack, or injector. Take this one out. Nothing. Throw that to the side. That's a dead cylinder. Now you're running on 2 cylinders. It is now a 2-cylinder vehicle. Let's take this one. The motor should change. And it does. It wants to die. This one too. Alright? Misfires on number 2 and number 3 cylinder. Now I know it's not the spark plugs, and I know it's not the wire. Let me show you that we're getting a spark. I'm going to put the test light, back up a little bit, put the test light on battery negative, and you should see a spark come out of that wire. I just want to show you guys that's not a wire. Problem. Go find the wire. You see that spark? You see the spark? Yeah. Alright. So we know we got spark. Those are brand new spark plugs. Alright, I'm going to try to make this a non-editing video. I know it's not a spark problem. I know it's not a spark plug problem. I know it's not a compression problem anymore because I got a brand new head on here. Okay, so I know my valves are closed all the way. That carbon's not keeping that valve open. So it's a misfire because I got brand new stuff. Brand new stuff. So now I'm going for the injectors. And this is how you check your injectors for misfiring. Let's pull off a good wire first because we know number 1 cylinder is working, right? If I put my test light on battery negative with the key in the on position, because I want voltage to go to my injectors, right? I want 12 volts to get there. So I check my wire, and on one of these prongs, my light should light up. That's 12 volts coming from a fuse. All right, that's battery voltage coming from the fuse. And what happens is when you turn the key in the on position, I'll have 12 volts going in this wire from a fuse, and it's going in the injector, back out the injector, and that 12 volts goes straight to the computer. That's a straight shot to the computer, okay? So I know I have 12 volts. Now, come over here to battery positive, because I want to simulate that 12 volts coming from that fuse, right? All right, I'm not going to touch the wire that had 12 volts in it. I'm going to touch the wire going from the computer. Well, the wire that's going to the computer, it's going to be the white wire. I'm going to back probe it in the white wire. My light's not lighting up. I am on battery positive. So now I'm sending 12 volts through here, and it's going right to the computer. Now when I turn that key, when I try to start this car, that computer is going to pulse off and on that 12 volts. It's going to pulse it, because that's what the computer does. It pulses the injectors to squirt, 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 squirt. So I got it back probed. I'm going to turn the key. You look really close at that light, and that light should be blinking. Okay, I'm going to start the car up. Oh, it was pulsing the other day like a champ. All right, there we go. All right, it's pulsing fine. All right, good. That's good. That's all I want to see. As long as I see that light pulsing, man, I'm good. I know my computer's doing its job. It's pulsing. It's pulsing that ground. 12 volts ground, 12 volt ground, 12 volt ground. That's what the computer's supposed to do. So I know that pintle is squirting fuel out of the injector. All right, and that is the good cylinder. That's cylinder number 1. That's all I really want to see. I don't have to see a really bright light. I just want to see it flicker. Okay? So let's go to the injector number 2, the one that's not working. All right. We're verifying that it's not the injectors, it's not the coil, it's not the spark plug. So let's go back to 12 volt ground, battery ground, and let's check our voltage. Our voltage is coming out of there from the fuse. This other side has nothing in it, of course, obviously, because you get that 12 volts comes over to this side. Okay, and then that sends it to the computer. I'm going to put it on battery positive now. All right, it doesn't light up, but it's the white wire. I'm going to back probe it in there. Actually, yeah, I can back probe it, that's fine. Okay, we're going to see if this thing pulses. This is number 2 cylinder. That's the injector for number 2 cylinder. It should pulse if the computer's doing its job. See if I can get you. Hold up, let me get the light off of this thing. Go ahead, start it up. All right, it's not pulsing. That's good. We shut it off. So it's not pulsing at all. So we know the computer is not doing its thing. All right, I got it back probed. Back probe number 3, injector harness wire. Go ahead, crank it up. All right, we got nothing. Thank you. You see, it's not pulsing. We got one more to do. The car is not going to start. If it starts, it's only running on 1 cylinder. All right, we're ready. Go ahead, try to crank it up. Hold up. I'm sorry, it fell off. Go ahead, do it again. All right, that's good. It flickers. All right. So what we know now is injector number 1 is pulsing, injector number 4 is pulsing. These are not pulsing. So what we'll have to do now is this wire, this white wire, the pulsing wire, because 12 volts runs in this one and it comes out of this one, it goes straight to the computer, okay? So we're going to check our voltage here, and then we're going to check it down on the bottom, and I already got it ready for you. Let's just see if we have 12 volts at the computer. Hey, what's up? I'll be right with you. Okay. All right, here's the computer right here. I had them tapped. Right here. Those wires right there are the injector wires. Okay, so I'm going to back probe in here and back probe in here, and I should have 12 volts coming out of here with the key in the on position. Okay, so let me set up my test light. I'm going to put it on the seat on a good ground for you. Want to turn that over for me, Dewan? Just turn the key in the on position, and that would simulate the injector. This is the injector wire. I should have voltage, and I do. You see my voltage? All right, that's injector number 2, and this is injector number 3. They both got hots. So my voltage is coming into the computer, but but the computer's driver's not doing its thing. So I need another computer. And that's the end of the diagnostic. He needs another computer. All right. Ace Mobile Auto Repair, Jackson, Mississippi, and Ace. Peace. All right, these are Noid lights. You don't have to use a test light. You can use these Noid lights. You can rent them at the parts store, and they fit all kinds of injectors. You just plug it into the harness. Your 12 volts will go in, and it's going to go back out to the computer. Same thing. There's a little light bulb on it, so when you crank the car over, that light will blink instead of my test light. Same thing. You can use a Noid light or you can use a test light. Okay. All right, good news. The mailman just finished that video up, and the mailman just brought me my new computer. Let's see if everything is legit on that. It's a salvage computer, but it should be the same numbers. So that's exciting. I might be able to get this thing running tomorrow smoothly without all that shaking. And we are going to do a heater core on this one, to whom it may concern. The windows did fog up, so you definitely got a leak in the heater core. So we'll also be going to be doing a heater core on this one, and we're going to get started on that tomorrow as well. So we'll get this vehicle running good tomorrow, and we can start on the heater core. All right, I got a new computer for it. It's the MEC 04800. This is the exact one that came out of there. It looks pretty good. You know what? I can plug it up and see if it'll start. Let's do that real quick. I'm going to shut the video off. Let me go grab the keys. All right, there's my old one. Now I'm going to tell you what probably happened to this. The heater core was wet. The heater core was leaking, and the wetness and the dampness got right on that computer, and that's why it failed on them, is what I believe, because I can see water stains and everything on this computer. So that's more than likely what happened. It got moisture in it, and that's why the computer failed, more than likely. I don't know for 100% sure, but educated guess would tell me that. That's what I'm thinking. And I'll show you, I'll give you a better look at it when I pull it out. So it's good that we're doing the heater core, because we don't want the same thing to happen again. It may not knock out the injector circuit, but it may knock out another circuit. All right. Okay. If you look at it, you can see all that. It looks like wetness, antifreeze, wetness on it. It's possible. So let's see if this is a plug and play. I might be able to plug this up and it'll start up. I don't know on this Nissan. So let's give it a whirl. See what happens. Okay. Plug it up. This is the moment of truth right now. And then I'll hook the scan tool on it tomorrow, and I'll enter the VIN number in on this computer, flash it. If I have to, I don't know. I mean, we're going to start it up right now. All right, it's tight. So let me get around there, and I'll set you up front, see if this thing starts up, and it should run like a top if it does. All right, starting it up. I don't have the spark plugs. I was worried because I didn't have the spark plugs hooked up. So let's see if this makes a difference. Yep, there it is. I heard it. And it should run great now. And there we have it. It runs great. All right, we got a smooth running engine again. That's awesome. Bad computer. 2004, 2003 Frontier. Head job, valve job done. No compression on 2 and 3. Turned out that we also had a failed computer on that. Don't know how long it's been running, and all that carbon buildup because it wasn't running for a long time. It lost compression. But the injectors was the main problem. That's what caused all that carbon buildup on those cylinders. And that's a wrap, man. Hayes Mobile Auto Repair. It runs great. Let's give it a little rev up. Woo. All right, that's a wrap.